From the west side of Chicago and all across the world, it's The Greg Show, starring Gregory Struss. I'm Scotty Joe Vegas, inviting you to stay tuned for the next 30 minutes because we will spice up your life, enliven your communicational skills, and most of all, bring the excitement of Taboo Topics! And now, the person that made it through a dinner date with Bill Cosby, Gregory Struss! Greg Struss.
I wasn't sure. Thank you. Welcome to the Greg Show. Greg Struss. You know what? The beginning of the show, I'm like standing in the spot, and Mike's counting down. It was a long countdown, and he's at 4, and all of a sudden you start announcing. Just a little bit of inside humor, that's all. Anyway, thank you. Welcome to. How are you doing, Scotty Joe Vegas?
The show's on. Okay, all right. Hello.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's like, it's going to be a long countdown, and all of a sudden he's like, at 4, and Bob rolled a tape, and you're like announcing. I'm like, okay, did I miss something? Did I have a seizure or something in between where I lost some time? Anyway. Anyway, hola, hello, Cheshire, as we say here in the West Side. Sup? I'm the one and only Struss Man, welcoming you back to the Greg Show, emanating here from the mothership in beautiful downtown Elmhurst, Illinois, right? And just reminding every single young lady out there who's planning on a date with Bill Cosby that to remember to watch Bill as he, watch the Cos as he starts to pour the drink and tries to serve you some pills that he says are only candy. Thank you. So, I think we could be on. I think we could be on a CNN version of Red Eye.
Why
you ever watch that show, Red Eye on Fox News?
Is it the one with the girls with their legs crossed?
No, it's the one. It's the one with you're always caught up on CNBC. That's the business show, okay?
I smell something.
But you're talking about a different kind of business. They have the business. They have Fox Business News. But anyway, there's a show called Red Eye, and I'm trying to remember the guy's name. Greg, was it Greg Gutfield or whatever? I think that's his name. And it's on at like 2 or 3 in the morning. It's a great show on Fox News, and they have comedians and people like on a round table, and they just rip all over popular culture. It's great stuff.
Great stuff.
Anyway, but can you believe this stuff that the Cos, the Cos, one of my boyhood idols, you remember Cos?
Yes.
Pudding Pops, all kinds of stuff like that, right? He was the man.
Yes.
Successful, all kinds of stuff, is now basically being accused of being a serial rapist. And you thought that Fat Albert had problems. Fat Albert came from the hood. But Fat Albert, I thought that was a great show. I used to watch it every Saturday night.
Where that show came from was from his original show, The Bill Cosby Show, the first one, where he was in the 70s by himself.
He was a gym teacher or something, right?
Yes.
And he was the very first black or African American, by politically correct standards, he was the very first black performer that was ever featured on a national television show, I Spy, 1965, with Robert Culp.
I may disagree with you.
It's true.
Nat King Cole.
He was as a performer, an actor in a series, and a comedian in a series, Yes. So Bill Cosby was from 1965, I Spy, and then he had the original Bill Cosby Show. Yep. Mm-hmm. And I think they all were on NBC, by the way. Anyway, a judge has unsealed court documents from the 1980s stating that, am I in the center? Okay.
You're good.
I was talking to you beforehand. I'm not even paying attention. Thank you. Court documents were unsealed where Mr. Cosby allegedly, well, actually he didn't allegedly, he did admit to drugging a woman back in the 1980s and then having sex with her afterwards. But never mind, because she thought she was auditioning for a role on The Cosby Show. Thank you. Maybe it's...
They have to be funny to get the drum rip.
Okay. Have you heard about this gigantic sinkhole in the city of New York? Just a gigantic sinkhole. Yeah, it turns out that the City of Chicago budget went on vacation to New York. So cool. I didn't say they were all great, okay? Give me a little pup here, all right? So, there have been more and more power outages as windstorms here in Chicago this summer have pummeled and wreaked havoc on power grids. But nothing like the power plays that are taking place at City Hall. Yes, high winds ripped through Naperville, wiping out...
That's where Don Radke is a paramedic.
Wiping out nearly 1% of the total population, those who make less than $500,000 a year. Did you get that? 1%. I think it's...
Boy, there's some stinkers tonight.
Whew. And we're not talking about that feminine deodorant spray either that you were
talking. We all have.
I think we ought to record what goes on before the show. I think our conversations before the show. Finally, did you see the blue moon? There was a blue moon around, actually in the United States, but also, it was pretty prevalent here in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And for an entire week, there was a blue moon, and it told dirty jokes, too. You know how often a blue moon comes around?
Once in a blue moon.
Thank you. Anyway, like a cussock without a mustache, this is The Greg Show. I'm Greg Struss, and we are reinventing community television here from the west side of Chicago. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back in just a moment.
My name is Till Struss. I'm the Mother Station's set inspector. Seems to me that your set doesn't meet our code.
What are you talking about, Mr. Truss? Who filed this complaint?
Well, this complaint is signed by a Mrs. Mary Beth Wilgerberg and a Glenn O'Connor. It says, quote, unquote, that your set is very unprofessional, has no aspect ratio, unorganized, terrible lighting, no talent, and oh yeah, you smell.
That's a pretty big list of complaints. Are you sure that you have the right show? If you work for the Mother Station, then why are you ripping all their shows?
Well, because they suck. But also, I'm just like all of the other Mother Station brass. I'm a hypocrite. Well, Greg, I gotta go. I have to fill out an application with multimedia.
Tell Druss, everybody. Thank you, Tell. Thank you. Tell Druss.
Okay, we are back. Welcome back to The Greg Show. I'm Greg Struss, along with Scotty Joe Vegas. And everybody was talking about your coat before while we were like at our break.
Really?
And they're like, the coat goes so well with the colors that are on.
Hello and welcome to Weedland. I'm Scott Young. We're going to take you into a long journey of peace pipes with the Indian tribes of the Elmhurst tribe.
We had a guy on in Seattle. Elliot, what was his name? McPeak. His last name was McPeak, and for the life of me, I cannot remember it. Vivian McPeak.
Vivian McPeak.
And he was the president of, I believe, I don't know if he was president of Normal, NORML, which was always the group that were advocating.
Show.
No, in Seattle, advocating.
No, your old show, the guy that would smoke weed in that house. Oh man, you need to really get into Normal, man. You remember him?
Oh, from Zeke and the Freak.
No, I don't think that was him.
I thought that was him. So anyway, Vivian McPeak. It's on. I don't know if it's still on YouTube or not, but Vivian McPeak was an advocate for the legalization of marijuana. Mm-hmm. And so he came on and he started coughing, and he said, "You'll have to excuse me, Greg. I have a little bit of bronchitis." And I thought that was great. So anyway.
I believe we should get all the elderly high.
Of course. Anyway, we want to welcome you, thank you, to The Greg Show. And you can watch us on youtube.com with the search words Greg Struss Show. Also on Xfinity Comcast in the west suburbs of Chicago, emanating here from Studio City in Elmhurst.
This just in, this is show 39.
Yeah. And we've had like a variety of topics that we were discussing tonight. Our regular director, Bob Rutherford, is not here, so Mike Mickrit has stepped up from audio. Bobby Mudra's on doing sound tonight. And we were all having this discussion beforehand about an arrangement of topics that I don't know if we can really discuss.
I think we should.
Okay, so what do you think the first one was?
I believe unclean undergarments and people who don't wash their units.
But men don't seem to have the
They
problem
got it.
that women do.
Well, it's because they have an Audi, not an innie. Not the cars we're talking about. We're talking about the sunshine box down there, but go ahead, sir.
Okay. So there is a smell that emits from, shall we say, the nether region, not the Netherlands.
I was listening to Playboy Radio, and on there they had fresh balls. There's a thing that's out. It's called fresh balls. If you're having a problem with your marriage, ladies, and you want to freshen things up in the old boudoir,
The mudra?
the boudoir, that means the bedroom, get some clean balls, and they're supposed to freshen them up, and you can play with them like a cat.
And it's called fresh balls.
It's called fresh balls.
Okay. I worked with someone who
Stank!
We were in very close quarters.
Did she itch?
I don't know,
Did
but
she
there
scratch?
were rumors going around that before I started working there, this individual. I mean, I cannot believe how they talked of her, how they spoke
Around the
of her.
water cooler, or with a
It was
rag
like
over their nose?
we were in a very tight spot. Okay, I don't want to give too much away. Not that they would be watching, because I don't think most of them like me. But that aside, she would get up, and when she left, they would literally take her chair, which had stains on it, spray it, and put it off to the side. And then they made sure that when she was to relieve us, they would take that chair out and put it where she was working. And she was told by the women that worked there that was her chair alone, and she was not to sit anywhere else.
So do you think that she just thought like she was old school, like Adam and Eve, where she didn't have to, how do you say, cucumber the situation?
I don't know what it was, but it was not even in
Like
summer.
if you had to do a smell of like a garbage can to like a homeless guy, where on the scale are we as far as how much did it stink?
It was pretty bad.
Pretty bad. So that would be more BO or just like more country living?
It was country living in Russia.
Do you think that she was active sexually?
I don't know what she was. She had a child at one
Okay.
time, and maybe it wasn't clean from that point.
So
I
she
don't know.
is a mother. Well, maybe she just. Some people, they're active that way, and they don't realize that they have to take care of their cave. I mean, some people are like this. Oh, this is a great Thanksgiving dinner, and some people are like, I want that to die, and they go all over the place, and they don't realize that they have to clean their socks as well as their legs, and that's how it works.
Yeah, but I have never my grandmother had a colostomy, and she was always very, a colostomy is usually when somebody has cancer of the bowel, all right? They, back in the day, now surgery and surgical procedures have changed, but sometimes people end up having to defecate in a bag, all right?
I love that word, defecate.
So, anyway, the smell, the air, all that stuff.
The smell is in the room.
Yeah. But Grandma was very clean.
Yes.
And she always was very clean. But I have smelled people that are
That's
not
called
very
a lady.
clean.
Some ladies, if you're called a lady, that means you cover it up. If you're a tramp or slob, it's out in the open, kids. So your grandma was a lady, thank God. My dad says my second wife was a lady. Scott, she was a lady. That's all I got.
Okay. What's going on with Papa Joe Vegas? Now, you were saying as we were getting ready tonight that the family is putting pressure on. The people are putting pressure on.
Let's get a one shot of Greg here.
The people are putting. I'm trying to make a point here. The people are putting pressure. Are you there? Here I am. Okay. The people are.
White. There you go.
Thank you.
Back to a two-shot.
Back to
Let him get his here we go.
So
They're not putting pressure on.
where were we? I don't.
You're-
Oh, okay. So
They're fed up with, let's say you have an elderly person.
okay, now Scott's talking. Okay, go ahead.
You have an elderly.
There you are.
You have an elderly person at home, and the job of the kids are okay. You
We're
get up
just
for a
having
couple
fun
weeks.
here. That's all we're doing.
That's all we're not even talking like my family, and your brother and your sister take him for a while, and the kid that's usually the farthest away gets away with murder, but his or her doctors are very far away, and I see all these old people with their kids, and I want to sit there and I want to bawl because, man, our lives could have been different just on a couple different days in our lives of communicating with parents, not disappointing them not disappointing us. Can you imagine if it all would have worked out? We would live longer.
Yeah.
And it's so terrible to see the man that you feared and looked kind of up to in a business sense, just a pile of shit. Excuse my language, everybody.
I feel the pain, and I think I've gotten to the point in my life where I just don't feel, because I deal with so many issues on a daily basis with other people. I see people at their absolute worst, and when I say worst is just at the lowest level of non-functioning and not getting it and not understanding that they still have decisions they can make that can better their lives, but they're just at this point where the addiction is so...
it owns them.
It owns them, and everything revolves around, getting that next fix. So, I think of the pain that I have gone through in my life, losing a mother very early age, and kind of being caustic in my sense of humor in dealing with that loss, because that's a lifetime of a loss. If you've ever lost a parent early in life, and you grow up, you don't have that motherly figure, but there were other people in my life that kind of assumed that role on a certain level, and it's just not cool. And then not having a good relationship with my father, and not having a mother, and then all of a sudden the father's gone, and here we are in adulthood.
Can I
just
ask
a lot
a
of
question of
yeah,
the
go ahead.
departed right now? Why do you think your dad drunk?
Why do I think he drank?
Drank.
I think he drank because he had some issues.
Fair enough.
I mean, I think things happened in his life. He grew up at a period of time that I don't think his parents were well. I don't think his parents were equipped to be parents, and I don't think his parents really were honest with him.
The apple does not fall far from the tree.
But his parents were just not very nice people. They were very cold. They would come in, but I liked their approach in a sense in my later in life, because they would only come in for a very short period of time and out.
Cameo appearances.
Yeah, it was a cameo appearance.
I'm going to be a cameo man myself. Hi, honey. Happy birthday. I'm out of here.
So they would come in, and Grandma was always sick. She was always in the hospital. And my mother passed away. She didn't come in for the funeral because she was in the hospital. Then my first communion, Grandpa came in for the day. Grandma did not come in because she was in the hospital. So there was always something going on. I think Grandma had she had a serious problem with depression, and also was an alcoholic, of all things. And
you inherit those things through your parents. You don't realize it now, or your grandparents. Like in horses, they have a pedigree. We learned that. He was a crabby guy. Well, the dad was crabby. And it's you inherit those things. And people say, I'm not going to be like my dad. I'm not going to be like my mom. But what usually happens? Spitting freaking image of them.
And addiction is passed on in the form of behavior, okay? It's how things are reinforced. But I see it in my own family, the chaos, the drama, and I've just removed myself from it, and I just feel like I'm going nuts at this point in time.
Could Because there's triggers all over that say, hey, that ain't right.
Hey, time for a martini.
Hey,
So,
time for some donuts.
time for some donuts. Time to watch TV. Time to think. Time to
get it on.
Amen.
Amen.
I don't know where I was going with all of this, but I think every time, everybody, and every place in life, people have things that they're dealing with. And I don't know, they always say that clowns are very sad people deep down, right?
Gacy was.
Yeah. He was the killer clown, too. So,
killer clown.
Anyway. We have... Okay, segue. Here we are. We have... just having fun tonight. We're going to have Taboo Topics.
Taboo Topics, Jim.
And if you think this was insane, wait till you hear what's coming up when we return after this. All right, we are back after a very wonderful and interesting break here on The Greg Show. Coming to you from Comcast Studio 101 here in Elmhurst, Illinois. We are now going to take a look at what is our favorite topic of... Oh, wait, what
Are we ready in the control room? There's scurvying back there. Are we ready in the control room? 3, 2, 1.
Okay, you've just blown out everybody into the control room, but that's okay.
That's the first time I've ever blown out a bunch of men.
Okay. When in Rome, go to the conclave. Okay. We were talking about that beforehand, too.
Yes.
Why is it that when the Pope gets chosen or voted in, that a group of men go in this thing called a conclave, and then there's smoke that rises from the conclave? My feeling is that there's a steam room or something going on where it's creating this. Now, is this steam or this smoke coming from people's minds that they're thinking, okay, we're going to make John Paul John?
Why don't you ask Joe Paterno that?
Who's Joe Paterno?
The guy with Penn State in the old...
Oh, Paterno. Here's a taboo topic. Somebody is on Facebook who we knew, who was out here on show 4, I believe. Remember the guy?
Yes.
Remember?
Robert Lovell?
No, Dr. What was his
Robert?
first name? It's not Robert. What is his
Rob?
first name?
Rob?
Nope, it's not Robert.
If it is. Okay.
It's not. I can't think of his first name.
Bob.
So, long story short, you remember his lady that brought up here?
Yes.
SR?
She brought a lot of good mojo to the room.
Right.
She was like on fire.
Okay. So she, for some reason, we're friends on Facebook, and she's having some issues in this relationship and decides to air them on Facebook. And so I just sent a thing.
With the bone cracker?
A statement, yes. I
like him. Let's not talk about him.
I sent a message saying that some things are better kept discussing in private. Mm-hmm. And all these people are commenting on her comment.
Yeah.
And then send me this nasty response. Well, she's human. No, she's an idiot. She's not discussing her things in private. You don't go and share how you're not on the lease and things that are going on in your relationship with all these people on Facebook.
How much the cave stinks.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So I send this thing, and I'm just like, really? And I wanted to just say, maybe if you gave up the medication, life would improve.
Is that aggression that you just said?
Because it
Are we
irritates
allowed to talk
me.
about other people on?
We are, but we got to watch what we're talking about. So let's just go to the end. You know what? Because here's the deal. This is what I don't like. I don't like when people manipulate their ways into like, what do you expect? If you have nothing and you get into a relationship with somebody under false pretenses, or drama, what do you think is going to happen?
The sex clave will go.
Okay, so it's based on this attraction that, oh yeah, we have really great sex, but other than that, we're fucked up. I mean, that's exactly what, that's exactly what it is.
It is. Broken people finding broken people.
Yeah, and two sick people cannot make one well, but who is well anyway?
One strong sperm does not create an ocean.
So here we are, now on Facebook, and instead of communicating between our partner, we're now sharing it with the hundreds of people that we're so-called friends with about our private stuff that really I don't care about.
It's a mist of cooch that should not be aired.
And I'll be honest with you, I did tune in because I wanted to see it, and I was like, you know what? No wonder your life is so f***ed up. That's how I feel about it. It's f***ed up. So, long story short...
How many tattoos does she have? Are we still talking about her or somebody else?
I just, people like this just irritate the f*** out of me, period. That's it.
Do I ever irritate you?
I don't know. No, not on that level. And I've never talked like this either, and I'm sure we'll be removing some of this. But like she did her clothes because that's how she got the guy in the first place.
So
but
she
that aside,
sorry.
Go ahead.
So personally that she seduced him.
I just think men are stupid. I think men are programmed for one thing, and that's it. And you're a perfect example of it, okay? You like to have company, and that's good. But I think overall...
I love it when somebody takes the wash rag and says, are you done now?
Now, I'm not going to speak universally for the men that are working on this show.
Yes.
Yourself included.
Yes, absolutely.
But I think we lose our identity all based on the vagina.
I agree. Because when you come out of that little hole, your whole ideas get smushed.
Right. So, long story short, Greg's opinion is this, and you can tell me, shut up, but there's some things that don't belong. Like my grandma would say, all of Jerusalem does not need to be shown, okay? Be a lady. Be a gentleman.
Cross your legs once in a while.
Cross your legs once in a while.
Unless you need to air it out, then open them up. Get a clothespin, goddammit. Make it work. That's what Bobby Mudra told me one day.
I feel like this has been a drug-induced program, and there's no drugs.
Drug-free. Just a lot of hatred.
And then this is an example of someone who's supposedly in recovery, but not, okay? That's it. There is no truth in this. You're still f***ed up because you're still f***ed up. That's it. You choose to be f***ed up.
You can pick your f***edness, but you can always
This is a level of f***edness that I can't even begin to say. Now, I've had a level of f***edness in my life, but we're out of time and can't really get into that right now. I want to thank the crew for being here with us.
Give me a shot of my background, please, boys. I love you all. Thank you.
And to the folks out there that are having problems in their relationship, I think it's a good idea to talk to other people, not on Facebook and making personal things private.
And if you're going to have an affair, you're going to go to hell.
And don't do it on Facebook because everybody's going to know. Anyway, Greg Struss, thanks for watching. We'll see you again. Bye, everybody.